Bamenda, chief town of the northwest region of Cameroon. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining me on today's edition of the 6 p.m. primetime newscast on Equinoxe television. Classes have effectively resumed today in the northwest and southwest regions after a 2-week lockdown imposed by separatist fighters in that part of the country in order to frustrate the official school resumption across Cameroon. Our reporters will tell us how day one of back to school looks like in these conflict-hit regions. And after an attack that left 4 workers dead at the Pamol Plantation estate in the Jan division of the southwest region, the management of Pamol in a release says the workers were killed by unknown armed men. The management calls for calm while promising that the force of law and order will take necessary measures to improve the security situation within Lobe Estate and its environs. Those are major stories. Stay with us for details and more. We begin in the conflict-hit northwest and southwest regions where normal activities have resumed after the 2 weeks lockdown imposed by separatist fighters. In Bamenda, Kumba and Boya, schools have resumed just 2 weeks after the official resumption of schools across the Republic of Cameroon. Other sectors like businesses and transportation have equally seen a comeback. We have details with our reporter, Fomi Armstrong-Sander.
Road transportation was one of the hardest hit sectors within the lockdown period, and this driver on the Boya Muyuka highway says he went through hell getting to cope with no activity for 2 weeks.
For 2 weeks now, I no benefit nothing. Instead, I pack my car for down, my insurance alone, the bond for nothing.
His story is not different from that of this trader at the Muya market, one of the biggest markets in Boya. He is happy to have reopened his shop after 2 weeks. Streets in Boya are now busy with activities from Muliko to mile 16, mile 17, 18, Muya and back to mile 14. Activities in these areas were simply grounded throughout the lockdown period. In Kumba, in the Meme division of the southwest region, classes resumed for the first time this Tuesday, September the 19th, 2023, for the 2023-2024 academic year, 2 weeks after the official resumption date in Cameroon. At the GPS complex in Kumba town, kids could be seen well on campus, ready for the teaching and learning process. Crowds of persons could be seen in streets of Kumba, like here at the Bisect Junction. Educational stakeholders in Kumba turned down the request to give us access to most school establishments on this first day of school resumption. It was the same atmosphere in Bamenda in the northwest region, where school officials refused to talk on camera except with an authorization from the northwest regional governor. Schools have just resumed in Bamenda 2 weeks after the official resumption date in Cameroon, and learners are still finding their way into different schools. The Bamenda food market has also regained its normal steam.
Fomi Armstrong-Sander reporting on how day one of school resumption looks like in the northwest and southwest regions of the country. And a self-proclaimed separatist general known as Bake Francis, aka General Bita Kola, has been neutralized in Mofako Butu, that is in Konye subdivision of the southwest region. The separatist leader, according to security forces and administrative authorities, has been terrorizing the population of Kumba and equally has a hand in the killing of some students in that part of the country. Asia Lucy has the details.
Presented to the public and administrative authorities of the Meme division is a lifeless body of self-proclaimed Amba General Bitakola, who was neutralized in Mofako Butu, Konye subdivision yesterday. Mbake Francis, known as General Bitakola, has been terrorizing the population of Kumba and was equally among the suspected armed men who hindered the smooth resumption of school.
We destroy schools and we disturb the full resumption of school within the entire education. The man you see there, he was calling himself Meme Amba Smokeman or something like that. So he was the one spraying all those videos coming from terrorists.
The said separatist leader was also among the suspects who invaded a school and killed students.
And he took part to the killing of students in Moda Francisca. You remember very well, for those who are familiar with Kumba, since the beginning of the crisis.
The senior divisional officer calls on the population to be vigilant, denounce, and stay away from terrorist activities.
Yesterday, finally, that criminal had been neutralized. I am going to seize this opportunity once more to tell those who are in the bushes that if they are not willing to die, let them follow the instruction coming from the father of the nation.
Ntundong Chamberlain also called for the end of the 2 weeks lockdown, which has prevented the start of the new academic year.
We stay in the southwest region, but this time around we move to a Kondo TT subdivision where at least 4 persons have died after unidentified men attacked the agro-industrial industry Pamol Plantation PLC on Sunday, September 17, 2023. Reacting to the sad incident, the management of Pamol calls for calm while promising that the forces of law and order will take necessary measures to address the problem of insecurity. Our reporter Cedric Chakotio has the details.
4 persons killed during an armed attack on a Pamol plantation. The attackers, whose identity remains unknown, targeted the property of the company located in Lobe in the Kondo TT subdivision in the southwest region of Cameroon. This attack comes after a video in which a separatist fighter is threatening workers of Pamol plantations living in the Lobe estate. A video went viral on social media last week. He ordered the workers to leave the camp as he intended to use it as a base. The management of Pamol issued a press release on Monday containing words of condolences to the bereaved families. The press statement identifies the victims as Foyne Ernest, a heavy-duty mechanic, and his son, Foyne Martial, Tia Rita, and Sakwe Olga. The last 2 are wives of Lobo Mill, a worker and a retired research employee, respectively. Authorities of Pamol said the reason for the attack and killings remains unknown to them. They called on all employees of the company to remain steadfast during these difficult times while hoping that the forces of law and order take necessary measures to step up security within the Lobe estate and its environs.
Away from insecurity, a crisis meeting has been programmed for Wednesday by the city mayor of Kumba to dialogue with workers of the council. Gregory Mewanu made a declaration this Tuesday as workers of the city council staged a sit-down strike action requesting for 8 months of unpaid salaries. Magic Gabriel reports.
A tense day at the Kumba City Council Hall as some workers of the city council blocked the main entrance into the city council premises. On the placards posted on the gate, one could read, "No money, no work. Landlords are chasing us outside our houses. Pay our 8 months salary. Our families are hungry." To respond to the worries of the workers, the city mayor already has an idea.
Well, I'm actually coordinating, a very generalized staff meeting, which I'm talking about, whereby I think it's going to be the right forum for misunderstandings, which actually has been existing maybe till now, to be cleared. Innocent workers that are being pulled into, a certain negative action for one reason or the other, which I may not be able to define. But most especially those, and even others who are actually contaminated, are going to get the rightful information about what the situation is.
The angry city council workers, before staging the sit-down strike, had marched up to the senior divisional officer, Ntundong Chamberlain, who sent them back to the city mayor. The city mayor has this message to all of the workers.
I will ask everybody to stay very calm, absolutely calm. I encourage the workers to continue carrying out their civic responsibility and obligation that they have against the state of Cameroon, the city council of Kumba, this local government. We all have to do our job and make sure that we respect the law, because Cameroon is a state of law.
The cry of the workers is for a solution to be found to remedy their situation, and hopefully The staff meeting announced for this Wednesday will definitely have answers to some of those problems.
Onto something else, the network of human rights defenders in Central Africa is asking the government of Cameroon to investigate and publish all those found guilty of human rights violations and abuses. Speaking to the press in Douala today, the organization painted a gloomy human rights situation of the country. Babla Jonathan reports.
Civil society leaders decry gross human rights violations and abuse in Cameroon. An on-the-ground assessment by the network of human rights defenders in Central Africa points to a disturbing situation, particularly in the crisis-stricken northwest and southwest regions of the country.
There has been a resurgence of violence with attacks by separatists in the northwest and southwest regions. The security forces in these regions also committing human rights violations.
Journalists and human rights defenders have become targets. In many cases, they are brought under pressure, tortured, killed.
We deplore the fact that certain administrative authorities target human rights defenders and journalists who dare to openly criticize the government management of the conflict in the English-speaking regions and who denounce corruption and misappropriation of public funds.
REDAC is urging the Cameroon government to systematically investigate threats and attacks against journalists and rights defenders and condemn all perpetrators.
Investigate in particular the murder of 2 February 2023 of journalist Olabebe, the disappearance of defender Moa Franklin since 6 October 2018, and the death of journalist Wazizi in the gendarmerie premises, and the return of his body to his family.
It is also demanding material and psychological reparation for victims. The network of rights defenders says it remains determined to continue mounting pressure on government for the respect of rights and freedoms through the decriminalization of press offenses and the adoption of the law on the protection of rights defenders in Cameroon. In other Central African countries affected by political instability, including Gabon and Chad, REDAC says it is pressing for a quick return to constitutional order.
A 15-year-old girl has been sexually abused by 4 individuals. The girl, who got kidnapped over a month ago, was only set free from the intervention of gendarme elements. Her kidnappers, who are currently in custody, were arrested in the Yassa neighborhood, that is in the Douala 3 subdivision. Malaglory tells us more.
4 suspected bandits aged between 21 and 30 years have been arrested in Yassa. They were arrested by the National Gendarmerie for kidnapping a 15-year-old girl who has been missing for over a month.
C'est ainsi qu'une perquisition a été faite dans les locaux.
That was how a thorough search was carried out in a neighborhood where we caught the girl in hiding together with her kidnappers. Our inquiry also revealed that the girl was kidnapped a month ago and was sexually abused by the suspected bandits. They were later arrested.
At
the end of the operation, the gendarme officers urged parents to put a close eye on their children so that suspected cases can immediately be reported.
Bien évidemment, le message que nous passons à la population.
We call on parents to give a particular attention to their children and also follow their every move. Let every kidnap case be reported immediately so measures can be taken as soon as possible.
Fait d'enlèvement puisse être signalé au plus tôt afin que les forces de maintien de l'ordre et les autorités prennent des dispositions.
The 4 suspects were transported to the Mbanga Pongo Gendarmerie Brigade, where they are currently being investigated.
And now we talk sports. The indomitable Lionesses have intensified their preparation ahead of their first leg warm-up match against Kenya, counting for the qualifiers of the African Women's Cup of Nations. The players of coach Jean-Baptiste Bissek had their second training sessions at the Bapilipe Stadium this morning with accent placed on ball control and scoring goals. Brenda Tabi Ebika is a forward of the Indomitable Lionesses, and she spoke to us about how prepared the team is for this upcoming game. Take a listen to her in this excerpt.
We are preparing very well. This is not our this is not my very first time here, but this is my first time for the preparations of the CAN. So we are preparing physically, technically, and also tactically. And for that, we are all promising you victory in our country and also out of our country, because we know it's a very important match. There is no small, let me say, team here in Africa now. Everybody is doing his or her best. I won't really say so, but I've been watching so many games, but I haven't seen any game against the Kenyan team. But as Africans, we all know our opponents, so I can say I know a little bit of them, but not very well. Yeah, we are always like family. We are always happy together, preparing very well, mentally also, as we all know that this is a very important game for us. So we are all ready for the game, and we all promise you victory in our country and also out of our country.
Brenda Tabe, Indomitable Lionesses forward. And that's all put a cap to this first part of the news. Talking Point is up next. The teachers' nationwide strike action, OTES, is now posing a veritable threat to the 2023-2024 academic year. While pressure and intimidation mounts on, some teachers in some regions are determined to push for their rights to continue to gain grounds. Tonight, I'll be receiving Joya Dalatu. He is the spokesperson of the OTES movement. I'll be discussing on how the strike action will be going on. And so, the movement on a true supporter known as OTES started last year and was later suspended. Why the comeback of this movement?
The teacher corporation Enough is Enough, or OTS, on a true supporter, gets its genesis in the month of February 2022. It was during this month that, for the first time, teachers rose as one man to denounce a number of grievances. Amongst them, there is the poor treatment of their career profile, the non-payment of their arrears, and equally their wish to see the signing and enactment of the teachers' special status. Consequently, they wrote to the head of state, and His Excellency, the head of state, reacted promptly as he instructed the government to work hand in hand with teacher representatives to find long-lasting solutions for the betterment of the working conditions of the teachers. Following these instructions given by the head of state, with the special mention of the très urgent, very urgent message on top of his letter, the government started negotiations with teacher representatives. A number of promises were made. Amongst them, we have the fact June 2022 until the month of August 2000. Unfortunately, right now we are on the 19th of September 2023, and these promises so far have not been fulfilled. That is why the OTS Enough is Enough movement has started again.
Joya Dalatu, teachers are equally demanding for automatic advancement. What exactly does it mean?
You know, one of these problems that comes first is the issue of automatic advancement. You know, this is a reality already in some ministries in Cameroon. It's not like we are proposing an extraordinary something. This is already existing in some other ministries. By automatic advancement, we mean that government should make it possible for teachers to have their advancements and the financial effects automatically, without the teacher waiting or being in need to travel to Yaoundé to make things become possible, with computer programs. This can be made possible, and that's why we want automatic advancement. These are issues contained in the teacher's special status.
We are already in the third week of back to school, and we are aware that classes are not yet effective. What methods are being applied by teachers to pressurize the government to keep to their promises?
Our strike methods are very straightforward, simple, and especially very peaceful. We ask teachers to be present in their various schools, to go in their various classes, sign the logbook, but do not carry out any pedagogic activity. We do not encourage teachers neither to be absent from their schools nor to carry out any form of activities out of their schools. Teachers are not expected to carry any form of protest activity out of their school premises, nor within the school premises. Teachers are simply expected, after these various instructions have been fulfilled, to go back to their staff rooms, snap pictures of the day, and then post them on our various fora. So these are the various methods we are exploring so far. We might in the future want to explore other different forms of expressing our anger and deception vis-a-vis government promises. But for now, these are the ones we advocate for and nothing more, actually.
Some teachers have been summoned in police stations, while others were given query letters by their hierarchy. Do you teachers consider all these acts as some sort of intimidation on the part of the government?
Since the beginning of the movement, some teachers have received summons from police authorities, and some colleagues have been receiving query letters from their principals or divisional delegates. We regret to say that this is pure intimidation because, we are not lawbreakers. Rather, we are fighting for the fact that the law or the supreme authority of the state be respected. We are fighting for the fact that the instructions of the supreme authority of this country be respected. The President of the Republic in this letter asked and instructed government to work hand in hand with teacher representatives to find long-lasting solutions to the problems faced by teachers. And this letter carries this instruction, very urgent. We do not understand how teachers can be summoned to police stations because they are asking government to put in practice the instructions of the head of state of Cameroon. So we invite these various authorities to a lot of consideration and appeasement because, the solution to this situation is not brutality. As a matter of fact, in all these various places where regional authorities have tried to strangle the teacher corporation, rather it has had the contrary effect of fostering the birth of new schools abiding to the rules of the OTS, Enough is Enough movement. So we hope that our various authorities will come back to appeasement and understand that the solution out of this situation is negotiation, not brutality.
In some schools, activities are moving on smoothly. Does it mean these other set of teachers are not in solidarity with the movement, and what accounts for that?
It's true that some teachers are carrying out normal pedagogic activities in some other schools. Yes. However, it's hard to rally everyone to join and support a given cause. But the positive thing with this is that the mobilization of teachers is increasing every day that goes on. And it's just a matter of time before these other colleagues who are still lagging behind realize that the solution to our problems rely in us gathering as one man to claim our rights. More to this, we've realized that in many situations, some other teachers who were initially neutral and didn't want to join the cooperation have been joining as long as they see that teachers are being molested in some places, summoned in police stations, and seeing this happen to their colleagues has created a certain sense of solidarity in these teachers who were initially neutral, and they are gradually joining this movement. That's why I was saying some few seconds ago that whenever administrative authorities try to bully teachers, it rather has the contrary effect of pushing neutral teachers to join the cooperation. So we do not worry about that. We know that it's just a matter of time. They will all join the cooperation as long as things keep moving on.
You earlier said it's just a matter of time. What if the government does not react promptly? Does it mean a blank academic year for students?
That comes again and again. What if government doesn't react? Will it mean that we are going straight to a blank year? I don't think so. We believe that education is still a priority in this country, and that government will not let this happen. That is why we are very optimistic, and we are looking forward to hear government call us to a talk. We know this the general this is a routine in every strike action, that government calls the various protagonists to engage a conversation, a dialogue with them. This is exactly what we expect, and we hope that when these dialogues come and start, they will be done on a very sincere basis. And we equally hope that when they happen, they shall bring a long-lasting solution to the various problems that the national situation is plunged into. We expect that these solutions will go a long way to solve a lot of problems that teachers face actually, and we equally expect that this will be done in the forthcoming days, because we are teachers, we are professionally conscious of our duties, and we simply demand that our rights be considered. And once this is done, all teachers will be happy to go back to their various classrooms, and we will surely call this a bad dream, and it will be over.
Latu, spokesperson of the OTS movement and equally high school teacher at Government Bilingual High School Kutaba, that is in the West region of Cameroon. Thank you so much for your time, and equally thank you to all of you who stayed glued to Equinoxe TV for the 6 p.m. primetime newscast. That's where we put an end to this edition of the newscast. Have a wonderful evening.
Equinoxe Télévision, au-delà de l'image, nous rendons compte. Ce dimanche sur Equinoxe Télévision.
Dans la factory allemande sur le rivage du roi Aqua, décidez volontairement ce qui suit. Nous n'avons pas besoin de protection, mais nous voulons une annexion avec le gouvernement de n'importe quel pays européen.
Deuxième point, ils sont toujours en contradiction avec ce qu'ils nous ont toujours demandé. Ils veulent l'annexion et non plus la protection.
L'Europe connaît des problèmes. Et vous venez baisser le prix de l'huile chez nous les nègres.
C'est bien écrit.